we've got some news surrounding the Tennessee defensive line. And this is going to be Four Downs, brought to you by Ted Russell Ford Lincoln. Ted Russell Ford Lincoln is your home for the finest vehicles in Knoxville, new and used, East Tennessee's largest Ford and Lincoln volume dealer. We get rolling on Four Downs with Tennessee's defensive line. Rodney Gardner and Coach Chop, Laverne Harbin, spoke with the media yesterday to discuss the defensive line situation. And there were some major takeaways from me about the defensive line as a whole based on what was said. I'm going to go through all of those real quick, and I'm going to say what I believe about each of the groups because some things were very interesting and some were concerning, but some were a good sign for Tennessee. We're going to break down what all of this means. It is Four Downs, brought to you by Ted Russell Ford. And first, we give the message from Cooper Mays. Cooper Mays here. Like and subscribe. For those who are new to the show, the inside joke, our co-host Dave Hooker, who is out right now, he has a board that has a Cooper Mays audio that I can't use, so that's why I say I do the Cooper Mays impression. I hope he doesn't hate me for that. But yes, hit like and subscribe, and now we go Coop here. First down. First down. Biggest takeaways on the defensive line that I learned yesterday. The one defensive end position on the defensive line, fully set. Fully set. Dominic Bailey has apparently become a breakout star on the defensive line. He was part of the overall rotation last year, to be fair, but he apparently has had a huge leap this year for Tennessee, which is a big deal. Dominic Bailey last year, to be fair, breaking him down, he did have 25 total tackles, 10 of which were solo, along with 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, recovered 2 fumbles, and forced a fumble. On the defensive line, Dominic Bailey is a very, very good player. Tennessee returns all 3 of its defensive ends who play up on the line from last year, because joining Dominic Bailey is also Tyree West, who is part of that group. He had 16 total tackles, 8 solo, 5 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. Tyree West and Dominic Bailey are both 4 stars coming out. They should both take a huge leap forward. And Tyree Weathersby, who was highly touted too coming out of high school, is back on the roster as well. He didn't play much last year. He played sparingly, but the depth is still there on the defensive end. And with Dominic Bailey reportedly becoming a leader and taking a huge step forward, Tennessee should have a very big advantage there. I think they will be better than last year on the defensive end spot on the defensive line, which is a huge deal. Cooper Mays here. Second down. All right, second down. The defensive tackle spots. Rodney Garner said they're still looking for their 4th defensive tackle. Now, that's a concern. We have to point this out. Last year, Tennessee had 6 defensive tackles play at least 200 plays. We're talking Elijah Simmons, norman-lott, Amari Thomas, Bryson Eason, David Hobbs, and Jackson Moy. Amari Thomas, norman-lott, and Elijah Simmons are all gone. Now, can Bryson Eason, David Hobbs, and Jackson Moy replace just those 3 guys in production? I think they can. While I do think Elijah Simmons was the most raw talent of all of that 6, I think he just couldn't stay healthy. I think Jackson Moy has that type of potential from a different type of player because he's not the exact same build. He's shorter, but I think Jackson Moy can be that type of an impact player. And David Hobbs and Bryson Eason is the same type of veteran that Amari Thomas was. And David Hobbs has norman-lott potential. So I actually think all 3 of them can be exactly as good as those top they were last year. But that means the depth behind them, will that be as good? Will that be the question? Because if those 3 have to replace the top 3, who can replace Bryson Eason, norman-lott? Who can replace Bryson Eason, David Hobbs, and Jackson Moy as the backups? Well, Tennessee did land Josh Shell, a transfer from Grand Valley State from Division II. Look, I trust Rodney Garner's talent evaluation. I don't think they would have landed him for no reason. So I do have faith in him. There's also Jamal Wallace, who was a 3-star JUCO transfer 2 years ago, who should have experience and be ready to go. Then there's Nathan Robinson, a 3-star from the 2023 class. Isaiah Campbell's a 3-star. In this class, you have Isaiah Campbell, Charles House III, and Ethan Utley. Ethan Utley is a 4-star defensive tackle. Who do I think is going to be the other 3 in the rotation? I'm going with Josh Shell, Nathan Robinson, and Jamal Wallace. those are my three guys. I think Josh Heupel does love veteran leadership. And so I think the defensive tackles, there's some development that's required. And so I think the true freshmen aren't going to be in there. Can they offset Moy, Hobbs, and Eason, though? I have to lean no. I don't think they can. I'm sorry. I think that there's just some issues there. So I have to lean that I don't think they can offset those guys. And that's kind of going to be a bit of a concern for the defensive line. However, then comes the biggest elephant in the room. Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down. Okay. Here we go. Here is one of my hotter takes. Can Tennessee be better at the Leo spot with James Pierce gone? Tennessee loses their all-world edge rusher in James Pierce. I'm going to say, believe it or not, yes, they can be better with James Pierce. I mean, at the edge rusher spot than they were last year with James Pierce because of the talent they have coming back. First of all, Joshua Josephs is coming back. He is going to be more experienced. Josephs has to be the complementary edge rusher, though. Josephs can't be the main edge rusher. That has always been an issue with him. So where does that leave Tennessee? Well, that leaves Tennessee with, obviously, Jordan Ross or Caleb Herring. I think Caleb Herring is going to be the third edge rusher in this, even though he's a junior. He's more of a complimentary edge rusher similar to Joshua Josephs, but Josephs is the senior. And I think Jordan Ross, the sophomore, has a huge breakout year. You heard a lot of people tout him yesterday. You heard one of the big things, Coach Chop said Jordan has matured very much so on and off the field, and a great job of doing maintenance work and a great job in the weight room too. So sometimes he's lifting twice a day. He's working out in his own way with drills on the weekend. And the biggest thing is just living in the training room because he plays so hard, man. He's unbelievable. He plays hard. He's carrying his weight really good. And he's just a focused young man that he wants to be right now. And it sounds like there was a switch that flipped for Ross. Now, Chop denies that. He says, quote, I don't think it was a switch. I think it was him trying to feel his way, how college life is on and off the field. And once he got that part figured out and aligned with his goals, he moved on to getting better on and off the field. And then Jordan Ross himself, there are stories that he is talking about right now where he basically is acknowledging that, no, he has changed his tune. He's 6'5", 245 pounds, and he seems to... He admitted, by the way, he said, I'd say last year I didn't really take it that serious. There were so many guys in front of me. I didn't think I was going to get my chance, but this year I've kind of matured and took up another role, and I've been trying to get better because we've got guys this year that this is their last year. Look, maybe that's not something you want to hear from Jordan Ross, but that's something that we heard from Jalen Hyatt, and then Jalen Hyatt won the Biletnikoff Award. So with that, I think they will be better this year because of Jordan Ross. Now, taking all that into account, 4 downs brought to you by Ted Russell Ford Lincoln. Ted Russell Ford Lincoln is your home for the finest vehicles in Knoxville, new and used. East Tennessee's largest Ford and Lincoln volume dealer. 4th down coming up next.
A beacon of hope in a world of high prices. Look to the skies, Knoxville. Super savings is here. Ted Russell Ford is East Tennessee's #1 volume Ford dealer.
Right now, get 0% APR, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on select models, plus 2 years complimentary maintenance.
Come see the super dealer today at either Ted Russell Ford location, Parkside Drive, or Kingston Pike.
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down. 4th down. Will Tennessee be better on the defensive line this year than last year? You guys ready for this? Hang on to your seats. Yes. They will not be as deep in the interior at defensive tackle, which is crucial. So Tim Banks will have to draw up some more blitz packages and have Aaron Carter and Jeremiah Thielander help with that. That's okay because they're going to be much better at linebacker. But they have more experience at the defensive end spot because everybody's back on that spot. They have bodies that can still be part of the defensive tackle depth, even if there's a drop-off. Most notably, the edge rusher spot will be better. Jordan Ross will be the superstar, breakout star, better than James Pierce. You will be saying James who by the end of the year. I'm telling you guys that right now about Jordan Ross. Taking that all into account, yes, I am insisting that the edge rushers will be better in 2022, which will make the defensive line as a whole better in 2025, which will make the defensive line as a whole better in 2025. So it is, watch out. There is going to be some very intriguing things happening going forward as a result of that.